Stage 6, but our 5th stage for the first day of Mystery Mountain 3-Gun. Hammer and sickle. Start position. Standing in start box. Shotgun loaded, safe, and low ready per rule 4.6.3. Rifle loaded, safe, and staged in rifle barrel. On signal, engage shotgun targets 1 through 14 with birdshot from area A. Then safely abandon shotgun in the shotgun barrel. Next, engage rifle targets 1 through 11 with rifle from area B. Then engage rifle targets 1 through 7 and 12 through 15 from area C. Reactive rifle target T7 includes a non-scoring body armor area. So there's an area in the middle that will not score for hit. Event officials will call hits on rifle targets 1 through 7 through 7. That's it. Far and near. All right, forget it, moving in. Head. 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 Close to far. Head, 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 head. Head.
Bye.
Thank you, buddy.
Record me too.
Heck. 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 You're official, no show clear.
All right, so hammer and sickle. I don't know if those cutouts in that wood there is just to give you a little bit of a problem, something to rest on, I guess. But the very beginning of that, we started off with the bird shot and the shotgun. There's a lot of hunting for targets. Do you memorize target placement well? I don't.
This is another one of those target arrays that absolutely screwed me over because I completely forgot that it had two targets off to the left and a sneaky little one off to the right at the end. And, I mentally prepared for that and thought, yeah, boom, 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 and then completely blew it. And so, again, it's one of those ones where marksmanship's fine, it's just you mentally screw up, and that's what I did.
How about yourself?
I almost blew past one of the poppers because I think I missed it while I was transitioning, doing a reload, moving to another position. But I knew that there was supposed to be a fourth popper, so I came back and found it. And I don't think it cost me that much. If I hadn't shot it at all, it would have been plus 15, so the maybe 4 or 5 seconds it took me to like throw another shell and shoot it was well worth it.
I always struggle with stage planning like this because I think they set up enough targets in this one that trying to memorize exactly where you're going to see how many targets would be a challenging endeavor. Definitely people that do that. I don't know if you do that very well. I don't do that very well.
Yeah, I used to, but not anymore. I mean, I don't have the time to shoot.
If you want to be competitive in this game, it's required.
So you really, before the stage, you have a 5-minute walkthrough and you kind of figure out through this portal, there's 4 targets there and 1 to the right. And then you move so many feet to the right and there's 3 to the left and 1 to the right. And that's part of the stage planning element, which is definitely a big part of 3-gun. And it's something that I find challenging. And so what I almost land up doing is going, I go up there alone and I just kind of like walk through it and find them all, which is not a stage winning strategy, but it's definitely a way to not leave a target behind, which I didn't. I don't think any of us left one behind. No, you did? We did leave one behind. Okay. But it's like at the same time, leaving one behind might have still been faster than my hunting and pecking too, because that's an interesting dilemma.
Yeah. Moving on the rifle though, I was kind of pleased with my rifle performance. It's the first time I shot it at any sort of distance. I'm shooting SIG 150 grain FMJ ball ammo, which you'd think is just maybe 3-4 minutes. But actually, when I grouped it last night, when I threw a 0 on the gun before I came out here, so I'm obviously very well prepared. It was grouping about 1.5 MOA.
Wow,
For
excellent.
ball.
Yeah.
For factory ball. That's good. That'll do.
All our, AR derivatives are inclined to accuracy. That's something that's so impressive about the weapons platform, and that's a POF, and it's handled well for you so far.
Yeah, so far so good.
How about yourself?
The rifle went really well for me. From the first position, I think I went pretty close to for one on those targets.
Yeah, you did.
From the second position, the sickle thing was a little harder to get a stable position on, and I threw some more rounds at the long range targets, but it was probably my best stage of the day.
So speaking of being well prepared, so I zeroed the MDR with a bunch of Hertenberg Austrian Milsurp 147 grain military ammunition, and checked my zero out in the desert a couple days. I went out there, I had targets out to 400. I figured out what my holdovers were because I'm just using a Trijicon 1-4. It's just a triangle chevron. I'm like, all right, I aim here for this and here for that. And we get to this stage and we get to the first position and I'm doing exactly that. And I'm hitting wildly high. And the reason for this is last night as I'm loading my magazines, one of these things reverberated through my mind that you told me, Russell, is that make sure none of your ammo sticks to a magnet. And the Hertenberg stuff, some of it apparently has in the past been just copper jacket, but the stuff I have right now, guess what? Stuck to a magnet. And I'm like, I can't shoot tomorrow unless I take care of this. And I call you up, and luckily you had some stockpiles of .308 that I could get off of you, which turned me into commercial Fiocchi 150 grain. Nothing wrong with this ammo, but I'm dealing with different ammunition now, and it turns out it's shooting high in the 0 that I had with Hertenberg, which isn't surprising. Hertenberg is lower velocity. Military 308s tends to be lower velocity. Commercial 308 tends to be higher velocity, which is the inverse of 5.56. Yep. Go figure. So I landed up finding out at the hammer that I'm shooting high and had to start to learn where my 0 was now for this gun with this ammo on the clock, which is always the way to do things, right? So kind of, I gave up on the 2 farthest targets at the hammer, went over the Sickle, and then I got it because I started aiming a 6 o'clock hold, which I kind of like actually, but I was not realizing where I needed to hold until I figured it out on the clock. So,
and that's another good piece of advice that again was imparted to me a long time ago, and it was that if you're not hitting what you're aiming, aim at something else.
Good point. Yes, and dirt splash, if you can see it,
Yep.
figure that out. So I just, on the first position, I realized this is the penalties for those steel, if you don't hit them, is 10 seconds. If you go to war on that, there's a point in which there's a diminishing return where if you give up on it, it's better to just take the penalty and move on. When I moved to the second position, I was able to figure out things a little better and hit them a little better. But this is all derivative of changing ammunition the night before, and it is what it is. But it was a fun stage as well, and I always like seeing some steel out there in the field. And this is something I think the audience doesn't always get, that doesn't get to come to events like this. 300 yards on a steel target sounds like nothing until you're here on the clock. That's different.
From a weird position on a weird prop.
Yeah.
It's quite challenging. So if you say, well, I shoot 300 yards all the time,
Yeah,
come try it out here.
Yeah, get off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was our 5th stage today. Stay tuned for stage 6.